Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations. Previously, the last two living members of the Yatagarasu were carted off to imprisonment, but the case has not ended because there are still murders to be solved. Now, Shilon Lane is having a really bad day. He got shot in the leg by his secretary, who was a traitor from the very beginning in more ways than one. But even still, Lane has accused Franziska of being the murderer, which is all kinds of absurd, and we know this. But we still gotta prove her innocence, so now we're gonna ask Franziska what exactly she was doing when she was invited into Alba's office over in Alabast. So, let's see her testimony. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the rose garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. That sounds like pressing. Because I know Franziska's not a liar. Like, okay, look, characters like Larry or Lotta Hart or Wendy Oldbag, yeah, they lie. I don't think a lie has ever come out of Franziska's mouth. Like, don't get me wrong, she says some crazy things, but that's what she genuinely believes, you know? Every put down to another person, every puffed up self-praise, she believes it. A liar, Franziska is not, so yeah, let's just press. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy.
Hold it!
I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring. Yes, that was my job, but upon hearing that the Yatagarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened here back then? Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself. It looks like you remember the case after all. Of course I do. I inspected every location. Every possible escape route. Oh god. Okay, look. I'm ready for my lungs to be better, but at this point I might have to accept that I'm just stuck with lungs like this for the rest of my life, maybe. This video, I'm recording this in mid-January, but I got COVID in early November last year. Oh god, it's been so long. Oh jeez, okay, anyway. And every aspect of the police's security detail. I did all that, then after that... After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office...
Hold it!
So you were at the theater as well? Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show? Well, yes. So Franziska was there. Well, after the show was over and I saw the steel samurai off, I returned to the rose garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation.
Hold it!
Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech? For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yatagarasu had planned on getting in, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. And in the end, the Yatagarasu did choose to appear in the rose garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Calm down, Franziska. She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself.
Anyway, there was no one in the rose garden, and we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
At that time, Damascus II's body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct?
That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying?
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box in the windowsill, watering his plants.
Oh, here we go. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Alright then, add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details.
So Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Tell me exactly what you saw. How many flowers were there?
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something.
How do you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on this side, however, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Isn't that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right?
I suppose.
After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them, hey, are in full bloom.
Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box.
Well, this contradicts what Edgeworth saw himself, or hell, their current state. Franziska, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
Yeah, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir. Yeek. He's defending you. Come on.
All I've done is state what I saw. I have made not a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles?
At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I understand. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Yeah, come to think of it, there are two big splotches here, like something was taken out. So it was the center two that were taken out, huh? That's gotta mean something. This patch of soil looks as though it has had something removed from it. What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here waiting for an explanation, you know.
Did you know, Agent Lane, flowers are best appreciated in silence? It looks like two things were pulled out of this flower box. This watering can has a rather robust design.
Mr. Edgeworth, why are you telling us stuff we can clearly see for ourselves? Plus, if you keep wasting time talking about that, Miss Von Karma's gonna get arrested.
I'd better examine something else. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. Oh. They appear to be growing well, and are well supported by these plant supporters.
Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only two here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed ya.
Miles Edgeworth, hurry up and shut this man up for me already.
I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require.
Oh, you do ya? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight, but I highly doubt it'll last until the end.
You howl like a wolf, Agent Lane, but we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. Why, the quote-unquote hair sticks. Sheena, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers.
And so what? Is this really all that important to the case?
Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight.
Got him there.
Think about it logically, Agent Lane. These sticks were originally in Alabast, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue.
Very well then. I want to hear it from you exactly how they wound up in Babal.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha! So that's why. Agent Lane, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
It's just another stick, isn't it?
And so it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus.
Oh, that's all.
The sticks were used as bolts for the crossbow. And they fired across with the string, the wire tied to the crossbow. And that's how they got the wire across the embassies and how they slid the statue down it.
Maybe? Like, yeah, 2 of the sticks were missing. You put 2 wires down across the way, and you can place the statue horizontally so it's laying across both and it'll slide right down. Oh my god, I see it in my mind's eye. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is the crossbow. That's a crossbow. Wait, you're really not suggesting? I am. These hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows. Hi-ya! I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the 2 offices. Literally. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. So, maybe it was Demask the Second who did all this, and just as he was finishing up and he sent the statue across the way, maybe that's when someone found him and killed him. And maybe Sheena was on the other side so she could retrieve the statue and all that, but wait. Then I'd have to smuggle the other statue across. Wait. Okay, I'm kind of losing the thread, but I'll stick to what I know. Sobabal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell you what the Primadux statues don't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? The Primadux statues didn't sprout wings. Of course they didn't. Glad you understand. Feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Primadux statue flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Sobabal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here. But that incredible scene just happened to have been caught on film, resulting in this photo. What an incredible scene it was! This photo was taken by a freelance photojournalist, right? Yes, so I hear. Not every photojournalist is known to be honest, right? Oh, brother, you don't even know. Especially not the ones that sell photos of spirits and giant creatures to tabloids. Yes, I know what you mean. I've seen those sorts of photos many a time in court. But there have been times when those photos have turned out to be telling the truth. If you had ever stood in a court of law, you would know that it's entirely plausible. You really believe the stuff you're spewing right now. The courtroom certainly is a strange place if what you say is true. But there really is something odd about that photo, no matter how you look at it. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them. But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself could reach the other side, correct? But But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing.
No, that's not necessarily true.
What?
What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions. It's a launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues.
If there wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, then what did the crossbow launch? Alright. Well, I already know, so there's no real point in pressing more, huh? The wire. I'm very glad that I got that correct, because if I didn't, I'd probably shit myself.
Finally, we have reached this point in our discussion. For I present to you that which is carried by the arrow from the crossbow.
I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Cochin's office. All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, you can see how Alabast's Primidex statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then what about Babal's Primidex statue? The dark shadow in this photo is clearly flying away from Babal. Oh. Going in the opposite way of gravity from the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy up to the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy. How do you explain that?
Aha! I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick works. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head.
The ceiling fan?
Wait. But how... Wait.
I don't know. Motion? What motion?
This is the motion that was employed to smuggle Babal's Primidex statue.
Okay, yeah, swinging doesn't make sense. There's no way. Bungee is patently absurd.
It's rotary motion. I think it... Oh my god, it is the ceiling fans, isn't it?
Yeah, all I can think about is how one of the ceiling fans was broken and crashed down on the ground. I wrote that off as being a cause of the fire, but...
What if it wasn't?
I believe it was done via rotary motion.
If the two statues were transported simultaneously...
Simultaneously. Get real. Statues would collide somewhere along the way.
Did I ever say that there was only one line of wire between the two offices?
If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed. Lane G says, "Don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability. Taking into account the tension differences between the two wires, the top one would sag too much to the point where the statues would collide anyway."
Agent Lang, as you know, the Primidex statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure, and the fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible.
Genius. Lane G says, "Oh!"
Woo! Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in two different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to Babal, where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock, QED.
This proves it, right, Agent Lane? That I'm not the killer.
Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? The proof is in the pudding, as it were. Pudding is a nice dessert. Boy, is it. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir. I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence. One more? This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor. The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire. I believe that it is right here in this very room. Now then, I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible. Use what you got.
Take that!
Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again.
The last piece to the trick are two pulleys.
Precisely. The ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. And thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. Aroo! This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypass the impenetrable security. You really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. Bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know who the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show is, don't you? The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabastian and Babali's offices, and that the passion flower support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case. Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food.
Why are you so hesitant, Miles Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, really. There's one person among us who knows this office really well beforehand. And that's the owner of the office. Miles is hesitating not because he doesn't know who it is, but because he realizes the gravity of this accusation he's about to make. A single point of the finger here in this case will explode into an international incident. Yeah, see? There we go. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now but to rush in. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. Oh, I have to use evidence. Oh, okay, okay, what the hell implicates Alba?
Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh. Well, the note does tell the guy to steal the statues. It directs Damascus II to this very room. But is it Manny Cochin I want to implicate as the mastermind? No. He's clearly not the mastermind. Clearly not. We have him on tape here as a goon fulfilling an order from the mastermind. Oh god, what? Documents implicating Cochin as a smuggler are one thing. Okay, honestly speaking, this note I think is my most likely thing here, but like the game, it's signposting me to implicate Alba. Do I really? Okay, this trump card shows that there is a mastermind, but it doesn't prove who the mastermind is. What do I... Is there a picture of Alba on this? No. You don't suppose it's the Yatagrasu's key? No, why would it? Well... oh, actually, wait. So Sheena put this in Cochin's pocket. And Sheena was working for the mastermind. Why? That would mean that the boss wanted Cochin killed. Wouldn't it? Or, well... Well, no, backpedaling. Sheena did not kill Cochin. Oh god, I feel like an idiot. I feel like the answer is just so blindingly, incredibly obvious, but I am just completely blanking. The mastermind. The mastermind. I know Cochin isn't the mastermind, though. Well... About causing an international incident, this tape was never shown. Ever. It was stolen before they had a chance to show it to people. Does showing Cochin entering the KG8 incident crime scene with a knife... That would certainly create an international incident, but... It doesn't show who the mastermind is at all. I'm trying to think so hard about this. I want to be careful. I'm nearly out of life, you know? You know what? Maybe I do show the trump card. Oh my god, maybe I've just been overthinking it. This is the signature. The trump card shows the logo of the mastermind. It's the boss of the smuggling ring. Is it really this simple? I feel like it's just this. Why would it not be? Okay, this piece of evidence points us to who the mysterious mastermind is. Points us to it. I don't have to prove who the mastermind is, I just need to say that, hey, this points to a thing.
Take that.
And this is it. Oh, no. How long do you intend to keep it from me? That piece of evidence isn't satisfying at all. Stop being so picky with your food. The person who concocted the trick used to smuggle the statues. I surely have the piece of evidence that shows who that is. Okay, maybe I overthought it so much that I didn't go with my gut. Because when you put it like that, okay, it really does mean this then.
Take that.
What? What do you mean? What? Well, shoot. Okay, what the... What the hell? I feel like a goddamn idiot. Is it the key? No, why would it be? God, fine, okay, to the FAQ. Okay, yeah, I feel kind of dumb.
Take that.
This smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had the time to grow so big that Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited this room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both offices had ceiling fans tells us that the person has very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Kirkus Alba. Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth? I'm certain of what I am saying, and I am sure that he is the culprit. Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that? I understand your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd. Just one thing, huh? The one single end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we will finally find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. The focus of the trick is to transport the statues
right? This is fake. So they swapped the real one for the fake. Why would Alba send down the real one? Because it was used as a weapon? Where they're like, hey, this one has marks of being used as a weapon, let's swap their location? But no, they need so much foreplanning. Well, It has to be one of the statues. They're the focus of the trick, right? Is there anything else? No, obviously not. It's gotta be the statues. It's gotta be. But which one? I mean, I have enough health to choose both, but... Alabast or... balls? Well, we kind of know everything there is to know about this statue, right? We know it's hollow. We know what it's about. But I feel like there's stuff we don't... Like, we learned that it was used as a weapon, but is there anything else about that's suspicious? Okay. I'm going with my gut. I'm trusting my gut on this one. If it's wrong, I'll be sure to look up what it is. I guess.
Take that!
Wait, what? Oh! Okay, I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primadux statue for the fake... Oh, right! Yeah, point out the patent absurdity of making a swap for a fake. Why in the world would they ever do that? That in itself is a question worth asking. It's not a contradiction, because the swap did happen. You should ask why they went through with making a swap that was in bad trade for them. I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primadux himself? I see. Ambassador, we'll be examining that statue now, with or without your permission. Okay. We saw the handprint earlier. Is there anything? Oh, can look at the face. This guy kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador. I suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap. Wait, what? Hey, you're right. Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret. Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction. What? Hurry up and open it, Miles. Alright, here goes. Oh! Wow, it really did open up. This one's hollow too? Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I believe a more thorough examination of it is required.
Oh my god. Both statues are hollow? Okay, well, what the hell is this? What in the... is this? Hey, is this what I think it is? A golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory? Oh!
It's a plate for making counterfeit bills.
Somehow, it appears that we've at long last arrived at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabast to begin with. The Primadux statue can only be handled by the ambassador or the secretariat, and the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena... Oh, doy, okay, yeah. The ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damask II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue at Damask II and... Then, in order to frame the steel samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? You're the leader of the smuggling ring? My country is a mess, and it's all because of you?
You're the one who killed Damask II?
Answer us. I never thought that you would figure things out to this level. He's not denying it. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin. Quite screwing around? Typo. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. If there is one thing I'm sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Kirkus Alba. It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Lane. Subjectivity. My conclusion is anything but, and is the result of logic and investigation. Logic and investigation. Only seconds ago you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you? It looks like you still don't get why I came back. Excuse me? You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you. What?
Agent Lane, I demand an explanation.
Sorry, sis, I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning. Sure you were.
You did?
I knew that this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. But without the ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around. Oh, that's clever. Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Franziska of the murder. Using Franziska as the bait, you were able to gain us entry and investigative rights. Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the ambassador would have given the okay to poke around.
So that's what all this was about. Very well, I'll forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth.
Agent Lane, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow, if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. The evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? I don't know about all that. But one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him. Ho, ho, ho. You're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto this sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me. Agent Lane, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection!
Don't be such a sore loser. If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity.
Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence.
Ugh.
I tell you, I knew nothing. Really.
New music track?
I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue.
You swapped a real statue that vested in your country the authority to rule for a fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything.
It doesn't make sense. Where doesn't it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense?
He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us. The proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing it can use to break this case wide open? The trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. And the tape was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what, a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence.
Needless to say, we Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time.
I no longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma, and I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality. And if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law, and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is one I must make by my own hand, here and now.
I mean, yeah, law is inherently meaningless. Law is just what we decide. It's rules. The people in power make rules, and they get to say anyone who breaks such rules are criminals. But Look throughout history. What has been law? So many horrible crimes and injustices that these days I would hope most of us would say are awful, irredeemable, evil acts. Law has never meant justice. Would it be unlawful to bring out this old illegal evidence? Yeah, of course it would, but it's just. There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law, too, crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this. Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life. It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates. Oh, is that what it is? This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG-8 incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession? Every time Alba gets a bit upset, he starts twirling his beard. Maybe that's a bit of Apollo justice rubbing off on me, but I feel like that's a tell somehow. Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense and let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains directions from the ringleader? I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given. What? This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate. Oh, very interesting. I must admit I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence you've presented. The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man, who has had free reign for 10 long years, to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. Oh. Well, okay then. I don't know, but we might actually be really close to ending this game. But, right, so we show the tape, we prove that Manny was holding the card and that the card had instructions from the boss. Then what? How do we connect that to Alba specifically? And for that matter, what in the sweet ever-loving hell is this pick? And what's up with the samurai dogs, man? How are the knives smuggled? There's still unanswered questions. Okay, you know what? No. I don't think we're nearly done. No, there's still too much. But I do appreciate how serious this has started to feel. You know what? Maybe this might be just wishful thinking, but I see a little something going on here. So, this game, I know, came after Apollo Justice. I know this because I'm playing through the series in chronological order. Not chronological. Release order. The order they were released. Made and released. Now, no spoilers, but a big part of the plot of Apollo Justice was that Phoenix Wright was becoming a bit disenfranchised with the law, with the court system. And now here, we have Miles challenging what the idea of the law is supposed to mean, and pursuing true justice. Could this franchise be setting up both Phoenix and Miles to be walking the same path towards disenchantment with the court system? Or the way the law works? I think that would just be splendid and glorious. Oh man. If that's the case, that is spicy? Yeah, I'm 100% sure this case is still not nearly done. I think we have a few more videos left to go, but I don't know. I feel like at this point we're close enough to the end that I might want to just keep playing this until I end, you know? Maybe like we're like 4 or 5 videos away. I don't know. We'll figure that out eventually. So, in the meantime, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been Ace Attorney Investigations. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.